Hey guys, JG here. Before this video gets started, make sure to subscribe to the TMK channel for all of our content. We got JG's Movie Night, we got Look Ma No Helmet, and our newest edition, Obscurities of the Silver Screen. Now, it isn't necessarily a new show. Obscurities is a podcast I would do with Remy Grey, and we watched movies we never heard of with zany titles. Now, we're interested in making new episodes for YouTube and podcasting platforms, but in order to do that, we need your help. If you like this podcast and you find it funny, you want more, help us get this video to 1,000 likes. I know that sounds crazy, right? But hey, let's shoot for the moon, why not? Tell your friends about it, share it on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, I don't know, is Tumblr still a thing? Let's do that too. If we all band together, we can resurrect this amazing show. Thanks for listening to my little spiel, and now sit back, relax, and enjoy Obscurities of the Silver Screen.
All right, so here we are, John, in the Arctic, like I brought us here. And do you see what we have to our left?
Ice.
Yeah! And what do we have to our right?
More ice.
And what's in front of us?
Even more ice.
And what do you not see?
Santa Claus.
There are no mice where there is ice.
But maybe not in this part, but...
What, you want to dig down deeper? You want to get under those layers of snow, John? You want to find those mice?
I would argue you on this, Remy, but my balls are literally frozen.
And there are no mice in the Arctic! We're not gonna die. We still have our phones. We can still listen to Obscurities.
Oh, good. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is 2019, finally, for Obscurities of the Silver Screen.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We apologize that this episode has come so late in this month, but we had issues.
I don't. Good things come to those who wait.
Yeah, that's right.
So consider this a gift.
The gift of the Magi.
Yum.
Yum.
Okay.
So we're going to start off the year with a throwback episode.
Ba-da-bop-ba-da-bop.
Yeah. And what movie did we watch, Remy?
The NeverEnding Movie! It is a film made in the 80s with a dog and a dragon and a boy with a horse that dies.
Yes, we watched The NeverEnding Story, ladies and gentlemen, the Wolfgang Petersen film from, what was it, 1984, I want to think it was. Well, let me look it up here first.
Magic of the future, phones, screens, technology, knowledge, everything at your fingertips. Never-ending movie. That's totally the theme song lyric.
Yeah, 1984.
Hey, there it is. Yeah.
Now, just looking on IMDb, the IMDb page.
Okay.
The IMDb page says that this movie is an hour and 42 minutes long, but the version we watched from YouTube that we purchased on YouTube was an hour 35. So, or hour 34. So what the fuck? Who cut out shit?
Yeah, I'm wondering what they cut out.
Yeah, probably more of
him buttering his bread. We'll get to that.
All right, so just off the bat, this movie was, I haven't seen this movie in God knows how long. I think I maybe have only seen this once before. And I remembered very little about it, except for the scarring scene that is burned in your childhood memory.
Right,
of the horse.
Of Artax.
Of Artax falling into the
swamp of sadness.
Yes.
Growing up, I watched this movie a bunch, and I specifically like the second one better.
I've never seen the second one.
So that's definitely something
we're probably
going to
watch.
Yeah.
And then we found out there's a third one too, so we're probably going to watch the other two at some
I've
point.
really never seen the third one. I don't think.
Yeah.
Because that came out like 94 was the third one.
Yes,
or
1994 would be. That would be correct.
I don't think that I've seen that one. But the second one I remember enjoying more than this. This was a good film.
Yeah, it just at a certain point it lost me. But I mean, there were parts of this where I was like, I didn't think it was that good. I thought it was all right. You know, I was just kind of like interesting. Okay, like I see the German expressionism influence on this film.
Sure,
but
like just the way it looks and everything.
at the same time, a part of me, whenever I see a film by a European film, I do have this feeling of I just don't get European movies most of the time. It's like I don't get it.
John's a good old American boy.
Well, no, I mean there are some times I'll see a movie like that's fucking awesome.
Right.
If it's
But
like
there
from,
are a lot
if
of
it's like
like
from Italy or something.
I was
like
gonna
that,
say
but it's
like some Italian movie
yeah,
that
but like,
just is
but
very
I don't know,
like,
which is funny because I'm a
open.
huge German expressionism fan. Like I love Fritz Lang movies. I love F.W. Murnau. So Nosferatu, Metropolis, movies like that. I love those films, but. Now it's like anything from Germany. I'm just like, I don't get this.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Right.
It's being artistic and auteur, which I'm all for in film.
Sure.
But you have to be saying something.
Well, there was okay. So I think what you're getting at is something that I actually really enjoyed about this film. So
I mean, I loved it. It looked cool.
Sure.
Yeah, there were just some things about that I was like, okay, the ending lost me.
Sure, but like
Lost me.
let's say like how Kung Fu Punch of Death had all these tropes of kung fu films,
Right.
And kind of I mean maybe they probably set the groundwork for a lot of those things. This is a fantasy book.
Right.
So fantasy books are super fucking wild. I brought up
Yeah.
Discworld to you,
And I had no knowledge
it's
what that
a really
was.
cool group of novels collection.
And maybe
whatever.
that's it. I'm just not a
It's-
fantasy person.
Yeah.
I like Lord of the Rings.
But see, that's the thing is Lord of the Rings takes from like medieval and Nordic
Yeah,
and like
it's
uses
more of
those
mythology.
Things. Yeah.
It was intended to be the mythology that England never had.
This film is just
Fantasy, yeah.
So there's like
Dungeons and Dragons,
tiny
like,
little tiny little people. There's like giant mushrooms. There's crystals coming out of a lake.
And I think that's what it is. Like
Rocks.
fantasy just never stuck.
Well, because
with
it's
me.
wild.
Yeah.
It's all this shit that doesn't exist. And in fantasy books, they just say it like as if it's something that you've heard of.
Right.
So throughout this film, you see tons of things that you're like, that's weird.
Yeah.
And they don't
Well,
explain it because
it's the
exists.
world they live
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something that I appreciate. Like Star Wars, I appreciate it because it really does set up the world for you
they do
and
that kind of
explains
same
it to
thing,
you.
yeah.
The greatest thing about Star Wars is the crawl at the beginning. It says this is what's happening.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I get it now. I think sometimes it just goes into it and it's like, here's this rock biter and here are all these characters. What are their names? Why are you waiting 5 minutes to tell me their name? I want to know their
Right.
name now. So I think that is what kind of threw me off at times with this. But, maybe we should just get into the movie.
All right.
Yeah.
Here we go. Starting the episode now.
Movie.
So the intro
Starts
goes
off with this song.
Yeah,
called-
and it's
like that. The never-ending
story. And it's great.
catchy
It's
song.
catchy. It's very 80s.
Yeah.
And they're right when they started, I was like, how did they make that smoke effect at the beginning? And I like looked it up, and it's actually kind of fascinating. So,
I thought it was like, it's just clouds,
because it looks like clouds, but it's big fantasy clouds, and they're
Right.
like really cool looking and slow. So what they do is they stuck a camera in this like giant glass box, and the glass box was filled halfway with salt water and then halfway with fresh water, and they pump like fog machine fog into it, like dry ice stuff, so that it layers out in that one section where there's salt water and fresh water. So then it makes this weird bubbly cloud thickness that just stays and slowly shifts around. So then they just like film that. And that's also what they use anytime you see Atreyu on Falkor and they're going through the clouds and stuff.
Right.
It's also that where they're just pushing a tiny
Now,
camera.
those clouds, the clouds we see at the beginning, that's supposed to be the nothing, right?
That is the nothing.
Which we'll get into what the nothing is.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
yeah.
Essentially. So the movie opens up and we meet Bastian. Now, when we first thought they said Sam,
I don't know how we got that.
I don't know how we got
Yeah.
that, but it's Bastian. It's this little kid who is
Yeah.
the worst actor. Like he is worse than Jake Lloyd.
I don't
And-
know about that. I feel like they're on par.
Ladies and gentlemen, if
I
you don't
don't
know who
wanna give Jake
if you don't
Lloyd
know who
any
Jake
credit.
Lloyd is, he played Anakin Skywalker in Phantom
I
Menace.
feel bad for the kid. He was so young.
Oh, I feel bad for
like,
the kid too. Like
yeah.
that guy's life is ruined. Like he is scared of cameras. He is scared of crowds and people
Because
It's-
everybody backlashed.
everybody and like I
mean,
don't
it
blame
was
him
bad,
for being
but-
terrible. I blame George Lucas for putting him in that position.
Right, because George never mind. I have a whole
I
giant
know we could.
fire behind
Gosh, we
this.
could go into an hour discussion about that movie.
But George Lucas James knew that he could not do the job and just chose him because he said, fuck it, let's choose some new kid. Like, he's like, this other kid is totally trained and he can do the job right. You know, we're going to get every shot correctly. But let's go with the kid that doesn't do that because maybe he'll give something.
He's a cute kid.
No. He straight up says, like, maybe he'll bring something new to the table. And everybody else is like,
you're wrong, George.
That's not how
you know
filmmaking works.
That's like when he was writing Attack the Clones, he was just like, man, this is great dialogue. I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and it gets everywhere. Oh, it's so hot.
George.
Oh, God. Okay,
back to the NeverEnding movie.
So we meet Bastian, and he's this modern day kid. It opens up in modern day, 1984 modern day.
Yeah.
So it opens up, he's this kid, and
He goes downstairs to sit down for breakfast, and his dad is like mystery salesman or something. I don't know what his dad does.
Well, he's just, in a suit and mustache and
like, I'm about to go to work.
Here's your
I'm reading
bread,
the paper,
son.
Yeah,
For
and
breakfast.
Bastian's just eating a untoasted piece of white bread.
There's a big
largest block of butter
in front of his bread.
Because I don't think that they gave them to you in giant blocks back in the day. I'm pretty sure they were still stick sized.
Yeah,
but there
is in the tub.
Yeah.
know?
But there is a giant block of butter that's just in the center of the table. It's like their centerpiece.
And the dad's saying, "Oh, son, how'd you sleep?" And Bastian is saying, "Well, he had a dream about his mom."
I had a dream about mom again.
How dare you, son?
I'm sorry.
You little weakling. You're not. I heard you're not doing your schoolwork.
Well, I'm kind of sad.
And you're drawing horses
They're unicorns.
in your math book.
They're unicorns.
I don't give a shit,
Dad.
son.
Okay. Well,
Why didn't you try out for the swim team?
what? Why would I try out for? I like horses and unicorns and stuff.
Oh yeah,
And
I bet you
reading books. I like reading books.
I did not raise a sissy son
I
to read
what?
books.
Unicorns are the most masculine thing I've ever seen in my life. Have you seen those muscles and horns? They can run fast, lift their head.
Okay, son, stop. You're creeping me out.
Okay. Let me just eat my bread and all of this butter. I'm just going to put some butter in my mouth.
And stop thinking about your mother.
Okay. Wow. It tastes like donkey goobers.
I mean, that's basically how that
Yeah.
goes. The child, Bastian is giving a valid reason, saying, "Hey, you know what? Since mom died, it's been really hard for me."
Yeah, he straight up says he's just sad.
And his dad's just like, stop that, son.
Yeah. Quit reading your books and
Quit reading your book. How dare you
quit
read?
reading books and start reading books for school.
Yeah. How dare you read and draw in your math book and not turn your homework because
Yeah.
your mom died and you're sad.
Right? Fucking move on, kid.
Sam shit. We wrote Sam in the notes, so I just read that. I was like,
Yeah.
Sam. Bastian is walking to school, and then these bullies show up, and I was like, they look like the Goonies.
And they do look like the
They do
Goonies.
look like the Goonies.
Like it's straight up that crew.
Sam, Sean Astin and crew. Yeah.
And they're like, hey, give us your lunch money, you worm.
And it's clearly dubbed. Like
Yeah, I don't know
most
why.
of this movie is dubbed, and I'm wondering if like some of these kids were or some of these actors were German actors, because it is Wolfgang Peterson who directed this, and
So, give us your money.
and the crew was mostly German.
We want to go to Super Disco.
We want to get strudel.
You go give us money so we can go buy cigarette and have like 5 bottles of wine and 7 sausages.
Give us a Jägermeister, yeah.
we want Jägermeister and ecstasy pill and Super Disco.
These kids are like 10, you know.
So we're very into Andy Warhol, and we like Hans Gruber in Die Hard. He's very cool. He's super cool. He's very wizard.
David Hasselhoff is our national hero.
He's so buff, so strong, so man.
So mad.
Yeah.
All right, moving
So
on.
they throw Bastian,
Throw the Bastian into the trash
Into the
can.
trash.
Yeah.
And he's covered with noodles. Apparently, the only thing that gets put into the trash can is noodles.
Yeah, it's all the noodles that you use in the strudel, you know.
It's a second snack before discotheque.
so then Bastian, motherfucker. I'm gonna say this until we get to Bastian in the notes. I'm gonna keep saying Sam.
Yeah.
Bastian then he gets out of the trash can, and they're like, "What? You're not done? You want more?" And they start chasing him again, and he's like running and running. Then he like goes into this bookstore to hide.
Yeah. I thought that it was a library because I just remembered this being a library when
It could
I
be
watched
either.
it.
I think
it's
it's a bookstore.
Yeah, I think it is just
It looks like
bookstore,
a secondhand bookstore.
Yeah.
The way it's unkept and dirty and dusty and
So
whatnot.
so Bastion like comes in and then immediately you hear this voice being like, "What? No kids."
No kids in here.
And I'm just like, the fuck is this library? Like,
Yeah. So
rude.
this guy is reading this book and he's saying, "Oh, you're hiding, huh? Hiding from who? Oh, bullies? Why don't you punch them in the nose?"
Yeah, so he just says like, "Go the fuck out and just like kick their ass and
Yeah.
leave me alone." Which
Be like Feng Shi and kick they ass with your beautiful
Exactly.
ponytail.
Yeah.
You know? And
Bastion has like a 4-foot ponytail.
and
by
they
the
show
way.
this old guy and he looks like he smells of coffee.
That's what JG said to me, and I was like, "You're right." Coffee
Like,
and
you know
coffee
those,
hard candies.
You know those teachers you had in high school, or like you would, or even like middle school, where you would ask a question and they would lean over and it's just coffee breath. It's just
You realize that's because they had to teach kids.
I know, so they needed all
I
the coffee
would
they needed.
honestly, dude.
I would inject coffee into my bloodstream.
I would too.
you know, just to give me that extra pep in my step.
Yeah. So
Poor teachers, you guys don't get paid enough, and yeah, we support you.
Yeah,
teachers.
drink all the coffee you want.
Yeah, you gotta deal with little shits.
Yeah.
And so Bastion's like, "Oh, I love books," and the guy's like, "Oh no, go to an arcade. These are books. We
"What?
sell books
What,
here."
comic books?
Like, no, I read like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and Wizard of Oz and all the Arthur legends and all of these.
I think
great-
he tossed out like Huck Finn or something.
yeah, I mean any
Yeah.
classic book you can
Yeah,
think of, he tossed it out there.
Bastion's just listing
Oh,
those.
Tarzan.
Tarzan.
Tarzan was the one.
Tarzan, yeah.
Tarzan was the one that made the old man go, "This kid knows his shit."
Yeah, it was like, oh shit. You
But
read
he's reading this
Tarzan?
book,
That's some
and
cool
the
shit.
kid is like, "What are you reading?" And the old man says, "Oh, this book isn't for you."
He says it's not safe.
Right.
And I think that's super cool because
Like,
then he
'cause
goes,
"Yeah, when you read 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, or
You're Captain
you're
Nemo.
Captain Nemo, or you read Tarzan, you're like Tarzan." And
but then when you're done, you can close it and you're
and
a
it's
little boy
over.
again.
Yeah, you
But
don't.
imagine if you were reading 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and when
it
you're done with the
never
book, you're still being attacked by the giant
Yeah.
squid, and you are Captain Nemo now.
yeah,
Or
so-
or Jaguar or Panther. What the fuck does Tarzan fight? Jaguar, right?
yeah,
Yeah. It's
So
still
it-
like
it's-
nipping
it's-
at you.
it's meant to scare Bastion.
Yeah.
But I think it just entices Bastion even more because the
'cause
second
now
the
it
old
seems
man puts the
fucking
book
cool.
down and looks away, Bastion swipes the book.
And somehow
and runs.
already wrote out a note super fast.
Yeah, he just carries notes. I think he just carries notes around with him saying, "I'll return your book." You know?
Because apparently he just goes into every
just-
bookstore and steals.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
This little kid.
It was the 80s. It was a lawless time.
So
So yeah, he steals the book, leaves a note
Yeah.
saying sorry.
and he goes to school where class is already in session, and so he peers into his math class, and then he just goes, "Oh no,
A math
test."
So then he's just like, all right, fuck this for today.
Yep, not going to that.
So he goes upstairs, and there's a little like in case of fire break glass type thing, and it's got a key and it's labeled attic, and it's already broken. So he just grabs the key
Yeah.
and just goes into the attic. So apparently he ditches all the time in the same fashion. Like this is his hidey hole.
It's yeah. Why does the school have an attic like this?
And it's a really interesting attic. So he like the second he opens it up, it's a haunted mansion attic.
It looks
it's
like
full
the,
of skeletons.
Yeah, no, it looks like the attic from the ride, the Haunted Mansion. You know that.
Oh,
that
sure,
attic.
yeah.
It looks
yeah.
like that.
Yeah. There's like cobwebs, there's like skeletons,
Yeah.
there's skulls. There's a lot of bones up there and like taxidermy.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like, why is this in a
Like I
school?
get that you can use some of this for education, but
Yeah.
also why is it all in the attic right now?
Yeah, it's weird. It's bizarre. Anyway, so he hides in there, and he decides to open the book. Dun dun. And what do we get? Rock biter.
Oh shit. Yeah. So he opens the book and then it's like this forest scene.
And
And
you just hear.
all right, adding that to the list. John is really good at rock related sounds, trains, planes, He hasn't done automobiles yet, but I'm sure we're gonna get there. He's okay at the automobiles. That's not really his forte.
Not as good.
Just rock fighting, trains and planes. Okay, so so it's this forest scene
And weird gargoyle
and
sounds.
whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a forest scene, and there's a bat hanging upside down, and he's super sleepy, and he's huge, and there's like this little like gnome dude who's like down in the dirt, and he's all hairy and kind of looks like Kramer, and he's just like
He does look like Kramer.
yeah, and he's just like huh?
And that is Nighthawk.
Yeah, his name's Nighthawk.
Yeah.
And he's got a bat companion that's also his like hang glider.
Yeah.
And then there's our boy Deep Roy.
Yeah. And his character's name is what's his
Teeny Weeny. Which of course, come on, guys.
Why do they name him Teeny Weeny?
If any of you guys don't know who Deep Roy is,
he's a legend in film. Like he played the Oompa Loompas in the
That's what
the
you might know him
remake
from.
of the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the one with Johnny Depp in it.
Yeah.
So that's the one you probably would know him most for. But he's in
all
a
over the
ton
place
of films.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was in this movie. I was like, wait, because I didn't want to say it, but then
And
I
he's
looked up
super young in this movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
because I looked up the cast, I was like, "Oh shit, that is Deep Roy."
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, so that's really cool.
Yeah.
And he has this snail, which is a racing snail.
Exactly.
Yeah, it goes really fast.
And it's huge. I mean, technically they're all tiny, or maybe they're
normal size.
They are normal size.
They're normal size. Just Rockbiter is
huge.
Huge.
He's a mountain of a man.
And he comes to them going like, "Oh, can I sit here?" You know.
Yeah,
and
they're all just like, they have a little camp.
and they're terrified of him because he's this giant
Huge.
rock dude.
Yeah.
I would be scared too.
And he rides around on this, like, you know those big wheels bikes that you would ride as a
Yeah.
kid? Where you can, like, drift and stuff
He rides around on
when
that.
you get good.
Yeah, when you get really good.
So he's riding one of those, but the wheels are like steamrollers. They're just giant round rocks.
Yeah.
That he's just crushing everything in his path. So it looks like he's going to run over their little camp, and then instead he's like,
Yeah,
hey.
it's like, "Can I join?" And he starts he goes to sit down, and they all go.
And he like thuds on the ground and everything. Like, I'm sure the trees all jump up in the air as he lands. And he takes a bite out of a rock that's in the camp, and he's like, "I see why you chose this spot.
Lots of rocks.
This is limestone." Takes a giant crunch out of it.
With the dash
Ash
of
of
quartz.
So he takes a bite out of it, and the rock crumbs come falling down out of the sky. One hits the racing snail.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking, like,
And
all
the
right,
racing
that's
snail
like
goes,
30 feet up. Yeah, the racing snail's like, fine. But that's like 30 feet up, and that was a big rock that hit your head.
Yeah, you should be dead.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Rockbiter.
He informs them about...
Teeny Weeny informs Nighthawk that this is a Rockbiter. You know, and so then Rockbiter tells them about like why he's there. He says, "My home has vanished. You know, it's been." And they're like, "How? Is it like just like a hole?" It's like, no.
Oh, he said that he left because the lake...
The lake is gone.
The lake is gone, yeah.
Like, there's a hole? No, it's gone.
They're like, did it dry up? And he's like, no.
No,
it is flat land, but it was nothing.
Yeah, and so
then-
that introduces us to the nothing.
And then the nothing got bigger until his mountains were gone, until his family was gone, until his town was gone. And it's getting bigger. Nothing is getting bigger.
So this nothing is a force consuming
Everything on this planet of Fantasia.
This world is called Fantasia. And so then Teeny Weeny and Nighthawk are like, well, we need to go to the Empress. She'll know what to do. So Teeny Weeny gets on his snail.
Big wheel. Oh, wait, never mind.
On his snail.
I don't know why I thought Teeny Weeny was Rockbiter's name.
and Nighthawk gets on his hang gliding bat.
Yeah.
And which is interesting because when they get to the Ivory Tower, only Nighthawk and his bat are there. Teeny Weeny and his snail are not there.
I guess they're just still trying to get up.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
So they go to the Ivory Tower,
Yeah.
which is where the Empress is.
Yeah.
And Nighthawk and his bat, like, they don't go inside. They just peer from the window or
Yeah,
whatever.
they like attach to the wall on the outside and look through the windows.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
You know, that's how Nighthawk talks.
It is.
And then this man comes out named Chiron.
He's the Oracle. They refer to him as the Oracle.
Yes, the Oracle.
Yeah.
He has this like really long white beard.
Yeah.
And he has this ridge in his head.
He looks like what's his name from Star Trek?
You lost me. I don't watch Star Trek.
It's Next Generation.
Yeah, I don't watch any Star Trek.
God damn it. Oh, okay. It'll
guy.
hit me. Yeah. If you've seen Next Generation, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
So the Oracle informs the people that have gathered there that the Empress is ill. And there's nothing she can do.
She's sick.
She is sick.
She's got Empress flu.
Yeah, and this scene is really cool actually because you have all these interesting costumes of characters. Like you have these giant heads.
I mean, the design in this film is so good.
It's like I said, it's German Expressionism.
Yeah.
Straight up German Expressionism.
So
like
they
you
have-
see in Dr. Caligari or something
They have
like that.
a huge crew of random fantasy species, and they get so creative. It's
Yeah.
shit that I've never seen.
People with two heads or like two faces,
Two faces,
actually.
yeah, where it's like the dude's right eye is technically the middle eye, and then they
Someone
have a
who's
prosthetic
just
half
hair.
Of the face. Yeah, there was one dude who's
Looks
just
like
hair
Cousin
and a face.
It.
Yeah,
You know? And these
There was-
two like ginormous heads.
there
That are
was
just nothing
one
but heads.
fish.
Yeah, a
There was
random
just
fish
like
just in the
there's
background.
like half of a fish that's
So yeah,
just standing
so really
up.
cool designs,
Yeah.
set designs and costume designs. And so then the Oracle, he explains to people, the Empress needs a new name. The only way she will not be ill is if she needs a new name, and she is ill because of the nothing.
Right.
If she is not
right.
ill, if she is given a new name, then she can stop the nothing from happening, from destroying the rest of Fantasia.
Right.
And so then they say, oh, well, we there's this warrior that we know of named Atreyu, and he will, he has hunted the purple buffalo. He can do this. He can find out. He can go to the farthest lands and find a name for the Empress. And they say, and the Empress already sent for her, so here he is, Atreyu. And this 12-year-old boy comes walking up,
Yeah.
and that's Atreyu.
Also, snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Our boy Bastian has a patch on his backpack of this Native American kid hunting a purple buffalo.
Oh, shit.
So when Atreyu says that, he's like, "What?" and looks at his own backpack and then goes back to the story. And
Right,
I always
that's
thought that was
right.
such a cool little detail.
Yeah. So, and they're saying, you're just a child. You can't possibly be Atreyu. And Atreyu is like, no, trust me, I'm the guy.
Yeah.
I'm the guy you want. So Atreyu goes on his quest with his horse, Artax.
Yeah.
But he has to leave his weapons behind.
Right.
Because it's more of
it's an
not-
honor journey.
Yeah,
It's all
not
internal.
It's not a journey of might and skill. It is more about morals.
Yeah.
And your character.
Yeah. So no need for these arrows, no need for the sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has to leave all those behind, and he's given the medallion called Orin,
Right,
which will
right.
protect him and guide the way.
Right.
So he goes on the quest with Atrax, and there's a really cool, montage of just yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome 80s synth music, Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So his first spot that he rolls up to,
He searches far and wide, but also we know that the wolf. There's this wolf.
yeah.
Named, we don't know they don't say his name yet.
Right.
We find out his name later in the movie, so we'll reveal it later when it's actually said.
Right.
But there's this wolf that works for the Nothing.
Yeah.
That is going after Atreyu and trying to stop him.
Right.
So Atreyu is also racing against time. Well,
Yeah.
Time.
And
time,
the Nothing, and
so he's
the
racing.
wolf.
Yeah, it's a race against time.
Yeah.
So Atreyu and Artax, they
They go to the swamp.
well, yeah, but at one point they're like, "Oh, well, it's time to eat. So let's eat." And then Bastian goes, "That's a good idea. I should eat too." And he pulls out his sandwich.
Yep. And it's like a PB&J, and it's very thin.
Oh, yeah. And
It looks like just bread.
Takes one bite of it, and he goes, "I should save this for later.
His acting
Not
is
too
just-
much. I need some for later."
Yeah, he does say not all right now. And he
Yeah, it's like,
says
are you
it to
talking
the
it to
sandwich.
the sandwich?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, "You're really good, Mr. Sandwich."
This kid was so bad. Oh my god. It gets worse. It gets even worse
Yeah.
with the kid.
I mean, I guess that's probably why he's not in the movie that much.
No, he literally says, "Not too much. We still have a long way to go."
And he like tucks his sandwich back into bed and then goes back to the book.
And then we get to that scene.
So if you've seen this movie before, you
know the scene we're talking about.
So Atreyu is going
Which I was surprised, like, when it happened, I was like, it happens this early in the movie?
I was surprised, too. I figured that they had a little bit more bonding. At least that's what I remembered. But I guess it is just like if you see a dog in a movie, you know it's going to die and it's going to be sad.
But this is this is the first act. Well, actually, no, it'd be like the beginning of the second act, I guess, is this.
Yeah.
And so they're walking through
the swamp of sadness.
Well,
or what is it called? We have it written down.
Yes, we do. There's the desert. Yeah, it is the swamp of sadness. He went through the desert of shattered hopes,
right,
to get to the swamp of sadness,
right.
And in the swamp of sadness, like it can sense your emotions. So if you are sad and you let sadness overcome you,
you sink.
You sink.
So he's leading Artax through the swamp.
Yeah.
And I imagine they're
doing
both
okay.
Thinking, yeah, they're getting there. And then Artax starts to like pull away, like a branch breaks in front of them, and they're like, whoa. And then Artax starts to pull away, and then Atreyu's just like, hey, dude, it's okay. Like, come on.
Like, we got this.
Let's go forward. And
but
Artax isn't
doesn't
moving.
move. Yeah.
And he's like, what's wrong, buddy? And then Artax gives like a sad whinny. And then you're like, oh no.
I'm starting to choke up a little bit. Just
and then you see like Artax starts to sink, and he's like, no, buddy, like it's okay.
And he starts,
we're gonna make it.
He starts like screaming, because
he's
like,
Artax,
no!
Artax, and Artax is just like at this point, it's like his tummy's touching the fucking swampy grossness,
and
Atreyu's just
Atreyu's
like,
crying,
dude,
and
come on.
Bastian is crying while reading this.
Yeah,
and that's
he's like, we can't be sad. We have to keep going. And you just see him losing hope.
Which then made me go like, wait, how does Atreyu not sink if he's sad right now? I guess because he knows that he has to keep going.
I believe that it shows that he's overcoming. He's in control of his emotions.
Yeah.
And even though his best friend is dying
I'm not
in
going
front
to
of
let
him,
it I'm not going to let it take over me.
Right.
know?
Because what happens if we both die? Then we all lose.
Then, yeah.
Like, one of us has to keep going. So I'm sorry, Artax. I have to let you go, and I have to keep going. And then it cuts to just Atreyu sitting there in an empty swamp, and we know that Artax just
is gone.
Sunk.
God.
So he just kind of picks himself up and keeps going. And there are some cool moments because he's like wiping off tears as he's walking away, and you see him like take a couple sinky steps, and it's like you can tell that the sadness of him losing
going,
him,
but he's
like,
fighting.
He's pulling
he's
him,
keep
but
going.
He gets up, and then he's walking on the surface of the swamp.
That scene
and he gets out of there.
Is so burned in my mind. You even if you see this movie once, you remember that scene.
Yeah.
And just how traumatizing it is. It's truly traumatizing.
As a kid.
Yeah. And this
Even
is
now,
this is a children's movie, and we're going here like, man, I need to take a break for a second.
Yeah.
And just digest that. So he keeps going. So let's just move on, because God, get away from that. Get away from that.
JG's tearing up as we speak.
I love horses. I've been playing Red Dead Redemption too much.
You're getting really attached,
right? By the way, I named my horse in Red Dead Redemption Bubba Hotep for all you fans out there.
Oh, that's nice.
Until I'm not going to spoil the ending of the game for you. Anyway, so Atreyu, he finds Morla or Morla.
Morla? Is it Morla?
Yes,
Big
Morla.
Turtle Island.
This is Big Turtle.
Yeah.
Ginormous turtle.
Yeah. John. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you've seen and listened to this show as much as I have,
I just think about penis too much, I guess.
John has like weird sexual awakenings through weird films.
Not an awakening.
So,
it was an observation.
So
like, that's a phallic
turtle.
He looked like a phallic object.
A giant turtle pokes his head out,
and they show this side, and it looks like a penis.
And John says that looks like a penis, and I'm looking at this like wrinkly old turtleneck that's like dangling to the ground. And I'm just like, John, do you need to like go see a doctor? Like, what? Is this normal to you?
Yes, it is.
All right.
I just see penis everywhere.
Okay.
Dear God. So, yeah, he's a turtle.
Atreyu climbs up into this little tree, and he starts talking to Morla, and Morla is allergic to him, so keeps sneezing him off the tree. And it's kind of this bit that they do for a while. But
They do it 3 times.
Morla's explaining that
She's allergic to humans.
and that the nothing doesn't matter to her because she's been
like,
here
I've
forever.
lived for thousands of years.
Everything has died around her.
It's like dying would be interesting.
Yeah, like might as well let it happen. It'll
Yeah.
be the only thing that ever happens to me for the next 300 years.
She's like, well, if you do, like, I can't give you anything, but if you go to the Southern Oracle can help you out. Well, where's the Southern Oracle? Oh, about 10,000 miles away. Like it's nothing, you know.
good thing I still have my horse. Oh wait.
Oh, wait. I don't. So,
Yeah.
Atreyu is like, well, I guess I better start walking.
Yeah. So he fucking hoofs it, and as he's going, he starts to slip into the mud again, and
Bastian is like, I need to stop reading. You know? But Bastian's like, no, I can't stop because Atreyu wouldn't quit, so I can't quit.
Yeah.
Got to keep reading.
So
It's also the end of school day now, so now it's like nighttime.
Yeah.
you know?
He as he goes to quit, he like walks down the stairs and sees like the janitors coming out and start cleaning, and then he's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna stay in the attic.
Go.
Yeah.
And so Atreyu like keeps walking, but he's succumbing to the exhaustion that he's feeling. You know, and the wolf is like in hot pursuit though. Like he's about to catch up to
it
Atreyu.
keeps jumping back to the wolf.
Yeah. And Atreyu's like, oh god, I can't go on anymore. And the wolf's like hopping along,
And he's
trying to get
sinking
him.
deeper and deeper into the muck, and he's getting up to like his chin, and like his arms just sticking out.
And then
And he looks up at the clouds, and then out of nowhere, a giant dog dragon shoots out of the clouds like some kind of celestial ejaculate, and just comes
just
down,
swoops him
and
up.
He
scoops him.
and I just thought like, wow,
Damn good.
that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, but then we see that, and then it cuts to black because Atreyu like falls asleep, and then he wakes up.
I don't think he just like fell asleep. I'm sure he just like knocked out, which I guess is falling asleep. It just seems like that's like
he passed out.
Like, oh, time for a nap. Like, no, it's not that. He
Passed out due to exhaustion.
Yeah.
And when he wakes up, he's in the grasp of this giant. What we find out is a luck dragon.
Yeah.
Whose name is Falkor.
Oh yeah. And he's got human teeth, and I always thought that was really jarring.
But he's really cool because he's like scaly, but he also has fur.
Yeah,
he has the head of a dog and the body of a dragon and human teeth.
It's really the human teeth and big gorgeous eyelashes.
Oh yes. Cover girl.
Maybe he's born with it.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
And Falcor explains like
We're not promoting. We're not promoting either of those two. We're not being paid for that promotion.
right. But if you'd like us to pay, if you'd like to pay us, then we would totally do that. So Falcor, actually Falcor also wakes up. I think they're both taking a nap.
Yeah, and Falcor's like, "Ooh, hello, young fellow."
And Atreyu's like, "Where am I? I'm not covered in mud, and I don't have blood all over me."
Well, I took you to safety, and you've been cleaned up.
Whoa, like a bath?
Yeah.
Oh, like. Is this some kind of dream world? Am I dead?
No, you're very much alive.
Whoa. Okay. So what do we do now, Falcor?
Well, you have to go to the Southern Oracle. And
All right.
just as it was, I took you most of the way there.
Well, why did you take me the whole way?
Because I can.
Cool. All right, I'm just going to take my horse.
I want... No, I wanted Atreyu to go like, damn, you're better than a fucking horse I had.
Right. I'm like falling asleep in the mud. You just pick me up. It's fine.
And so then Atreyu meets, because Falcor took Atreyu to these two gnomes.
Yeah.
Named Engiwook and Urgle.
It's Billy Crystal and
Carol Kane, basically.
Yeah,
it's basically Miracle Max and Valerie
like,
from The
that's
Princess
what
Bride.
they were making fun of. Or
That's what Princess Bride was making fun of.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Even though Princess Bride is also based on a book, but they
it's
look
those
the same.
characters.
They look the same,
and
yeah.
they're like a bickering gnome couple.
Yeah, and when they find that the Atreyu is awake, Engiwook, he's like, oh,
The dude.
yeah. He says something weird too.
He was like, "Oh, it's my turn on him," And then like starts to walk to the kid, and John and I are just like, "Oh,
this movie is taking a
what is
turn.
he doing to the kid?
And then
what
he
has
said-
she been doing to the kid?"
No, but then Engi-wook says, "To the winch, wench," or "To the winch, wench."
Which is great.
And
Because then they go up to this giant wench.
Yeah.
So it's like he called her a witch, but just mix it up.
To the witch wench, yeah.
Yeah.
Or a winch, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, so it's like this
It's
pulley
a fun
it's a
wordplay
pulley
thing.
system, yeah.
Yeah.
And they, Engi-wook and Atreyu like go up this bucket, and that takes them up to this peak. And Engi-wook has this telescope.
And it's made of like nothing
Crystals.
but a board and crystals.
Yeah.
And it's like you look through the crystals? I don't know. It's fantasy and it's a telescope.
And you can
that's
see
how it works.
the first gate of the Southern Oracle.
And it's so far away.
Yeah. And it's these two large sphinx
Yeah.
that are, facing each
They're
other.
these big titty ladies with big wings, and they look very Egyptian.
and large tits.
Giant boobs.
Yes.
I remember that as a kid just being like, hey. There's some boobs.
And we see
This like gallant knight.
Yeah,
is-
and Engi-wook tells Atreyu that this is
It's a test.
it's a test of your
Self-worth.
if you feel your own self-worth, you will be able to pass.
Yeah.
And so this knight decked out in beautiful armor,
He's got like feathers.
Yeah.
He's got like a fucking
he's going down the trail
fruit. I
there
don't
to
know.
the sphinxes, and they're like watching him, and then you see that the eyes of the sphinxes open up. And then just shoot lasers out of their eyes.
And blow him the fuck
blow
away.
him to smithereens.
Like, his
He
horse is gone.
dead.
His
He's on the
armor is
ground.
still there.
He's on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he is dead.
Yeah.
And Atreyu's like, well,
I'll do it.
I'll do it. I gotta go.
Yeah. And Engi-wook's just like, dude, did you not just see what just happened?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't give a fuck, and just like walks down there.
Yeah. So then, so Atreyu goes down there and he starts walking, and he's getting a little nervous, but he's just like, he's gotta be confident in himself, He's gotta be, hey, I can do this, And
You're the best around. Nothing's ever gonna get you down.
basically, that's playing in his head.
I would just be singing that. And I'd be like, dude, I could do anything.
And he's like, he's walking, and then he sees that the eyes of the sphinxes start opening up. So he just darts.
Well, he like shits his pants for a
Yeah,
second.
he's like,
he like
"Oh,
sees
fuck."
that, and he's like standing there, and then you hear like Agna Doobie back at the thing yelling at him. What's his name?
Engi-wook.
Engi-wook is just like,
no, you're gonna
like,
die.
no, Atreyu. And then he's like, I gotta go. So he just like runs, dives through. They still shoot at him.
Yeah.
Miss.
And he just dived through. He found a loophole.
Yeah,
Just runs
apparently
super fast.
Apparently,
through
you
it.
just go through that shit.
Which is funny because I said, why don't you just run through that really fast? And you were like, no, but it's about morals and whatnot. I was like, nah. Fuck
Apparently
that.
it's not.
Apparently it's
Yeah.
not. Fuck that.
Also, he did peer down. I can't remember if this is before or after
Oh
he
yeah,
jumped through.
he peered down at the night, and
Yeah.
you just see his charred body
Yeah,
inside the
got
armor.
like cooked inside the armor.
Yeah,
which is
he-
great.
hot diggity dog.
Yum.
So then, but then Atreyu must pass through the second gate, which is a magic mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he gets to this like frost cold land where there's definitely no mice, and he looks into this mirror, and he sees.
Bastian. Yeah. And Bastian doesn't see him really.
But he's reading the book where he reads that he sees Bastion.
Well, yeah.
So that's
and so
how
then
he
Bastian
sees
like
that-
just makes this wimp throw and throws
yeah,
the
he's
book
like,
away.
oh, the book.
Yeah.
And he just
Yeah.
kind of limp arm throws the book away, and we're just like, dude, come on.
and he's just like, this is going too far.
Wow, I'm so scared reading this book, and also scared reading my lines.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
So like we're starting to realize that somehow Bastian is part of this book.
Yeah, he's got this effect on its outcome.
Yeah, and I think maybe as a kid that threw me off. I was like, I don't understand this.
Yeah.
Even though the end does explain it, like I was like, I don't get this. How is he in the book?
Right.
So then Atreyu finally does get to the Southern Oracle. I don't know what the point of the mirror was.
It's just one of the things he has to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of this is about the reader understanding that they control it. So I think that there's moments in the story that say you have to keep reading even though you're getting sad, or else you'll sink and won't finish the book.
So that was it. Yeah.
Then you need to look inside yourself and realize that you are the hero.
Right. Yeah.
It's the whole movie is explaining how you feel when you read a book.
Yeah.
So if nobody's ever read a book before, this is how books feel.
Yeah.
When you read it.
This is how every book.
Yeah.
Every book you read.
It's like you're always the main character in a book. You read Mein Kampf, shit gets weird.
Oh shit.
Sorry, I took that in a really dark direction.
Communist Manifesto as well, you know?
Yeah.
And so Atreyu finds the Southern Oracle. And the Southern Oracle tells him that only a child from a human child outside of Fantasia can give a name to the new empress, or to the empress,
right? Because she needs a name.
Yeah, and then so he's saying, and so Atreyu was like, "Wait, how does that work? You know, outside of Fantasia, what?"
Yeah, like where's the boundaries? What's is it? Are you talking about space? Like what?
I don't get it. Yeah. And so then you see the Oracle starts falling apart because the nothing is starting to consume it.
Yeah.
So Atreyu gets the hell out of there.
Yeah.
And the Oracle's like, there isn't much time as it's being consumed.
Yeah.
and so then Bastian's like, oh, someone has to name her. I would love to name her, you know. And then he comes up with his name, and it's like Moonchild.
What was the name?
It was Moonchild. I looked it up.
Was it really Moonchild?
I looked it up on Wikipedia and it said Moonchild.
I always thought he said like Rosalind or something.
Yeah.
But no, he straight up says Moonchild. That's what he shouts out the window.
Yeah, you see, we can't tell what he shouts out the window because there's like so much sound over it that it's just like...
Yeah, that's why. And he looks out the window longingly and he's like, my mother had the most beautiful name.
Yeah, it's the most beautiful name. Oh,
and it's like rainy and stormy and shit.
So then
are you fucking kidding me? He names her Moonchild?
Moonchild, yes.
I don't
That's the name he wants
that.
to give her. Look it up.
But that's also his mother's name, assumedly, because that's
his mom
what
was a hippie.
No, her mom was a hippie.
Her mom, yeah.
Yeah.
How old are these people?
I don't know.
Movie time, who knows?
Moonchild. Beautiful name.
Where are Atreyu and Falkor going after, Falkor going after this? They're going to like this. They're searching, I think, for like to find like somewhere outside of Fantasia, and
they get caught up in the nothing.
Well, yes, and so then
is that what you're talking about?
Yes, because then Atreyu falls off of Falkor.
Right, because of the nothing is causing up a big ruckus.
Yeah, and so he falls. We find him washed up on this beach, and the medallion's gone.
Yeah,
and Falkor is gone. Yeah, and they're like calling after each other, like doing a whole Marco Polo thing, but they're clearly not hearing each other.
Yeah, like it cuts to Falkor being like, Atreyu, and then Atreyu's like Falkor, and then it goes back to Falkor being like, Atreyu.
Yeah. And then Atreyu like goes into this like little town or whatever, and he finds a rockbiter sitting there, in sadness because he's mourning the.
He's not a town; he's just walking along the fucking wilderness.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then he's rockbiter is mourning the loss of Teeny Weeny and Nighthawk.
Can I do it?
Of course.
These look like big, strong hands, don't they? I thought that they were big, strong hands. But they weren't strong enough. I couldn't hold them. Teeny Weeny. And that other guy. Nighthawk. They slipped within my weak fingers.
Oscar.
Woo, I like to thank the Academy. And
so
like
they're
really
dead.
Sad.
Yeah, so they're dead. So then,
they're gone.
So then Rockbiter's like, I guess I might as well just let the nothing consume me too.
He's like, he straight up says like, I haven't sat down for a while. Maybe I should just keep sitting because these big strong hands aren't what I thought they were.
And so then Atreyu's like, oh, no, we got to keep fighting. So he goes into this temple area, like kind of like ruins.
Yeah,
the ruins. And he sees like these paintings on the walls of the story.
Yeah.
Like he sees himself with
he
Artax.
he sees the patch that Bastion has on his backpack
Yes.
that is of Atreyu hunting the purple buffalo. Like that is done
he sees
in like
Artax,
cave art.
he sees Artax like sinking into the swamp of sadness.
He sees the oracle.
Yeah, he sees all this stuff, and then
he sees a wolf busting out of a wall.
Yeah,
And he's like, wait, I haven't. Oh, shit!
and on the side there's the wolf trying to bust out of the wall, but he seems to be trapped in there.
Yeah, I think he's just hiding.
Yeah, and he's all kind of bloody.
He's being all wolfy.
He's all bloody and beaten up.
Yeah.
And the wolf, the wolf then basically tells him that his name is Gamork, and that Fantasia, that he knows that the Empress needs a new name from someone outside of
Worf!
Fantasia.
Worf is the name of the dude from Star Trek. Sorry, the
Oh
second
my
you said
God.
Gamork, my brain just like...
That was like an hour ago.
Yeah, sorry.
But like, and then Gamork says, "Yes, I know. The Empress needs a name, but from a kid outside of Fantasia, and that this warrior named Atreyu is trying to, I need to stop Atreyu." And then, but then he says he does not know that he's talking to Atreyu right now.
Right.
Which is weird, but okay. And
yeah, because apparently he like straight up saw him.
yeah, but
But then
doesn't.
he thinks that he saw him die in the swamp. So,
Right, that's it. He thought he saw him die.
So obviously this kid isn't it.
Yeah. And so he's just saying, well, there is no hope. I work for the nothing, and there is no hope because Fantasia has no boundaries. There's no way.
endless.
Yeah, there's no way you can find a
could say
child
it's
outside of
NeverEnding.
it. Yeah, and but he says that Fantasia is dying because people are giving up on their dreams and are giving up on hope. So you can't possibly save it.
Right.
You might as well kiss it goodbye. And then Atreyu reveals himself to Gamork and says, "I am Atreyu." And then Gamork like jumps out. He's like, "Oh, I gotta stop you!"
And Atreyu grabs this cool jaggedy rock that totally just looks like a knife.
And he stabs him with it.
Yeah. So like,
Which was cool because it wasn't like at first I was like, "Oh, cool, no fight scene," but then I thought actually that was cooler. That there's this whole kind of like
it's you.
Yeah,
and
there's this
then-
whole like this talk about morals and hopes and dreams and whatnot.
Right.
Rather than a fight.
right.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And so it's like, all right, I'm on.
So
I'm bored
Gamork
with this.
tackles Atreyu, and then they're both lying still, and you're like, "What happened?"
Yeah.
And then Atreyu shoves Gamork off top of him, and you
Yeah.
see that the rock is stuck in Gamork's chest.
And then we see that Falkor finds the medallion at the bottom of a river.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he finds the medallion, and it guides him
To Atreyu.
to Atreyu. But the nothing starts to consume the temple that Atreyu is in.
Yeah.
So Falkor gets it in its nick of time again,
Yeah. Snatches him up.
snatches him up.
And
But they
they're-
see that Fantasia is no more.
Yeah, it's just like little
Just rocks,
cratery pieces
yeah.
floating in space.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow,
the nothing
our
had
world is
succeeded.
gone.
But then, so they're like, well, we got to find that ivory tower. And then Atreyu goes, wait, the medallion. Then he
goes,
grabs the medallion.
Guide me to the ivory tower.
And then it doesn't really guide them. It just appears.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, like one of the rocks just kind of shifts out of the way and you see, oh, there's the ivory tower. It's right over there. And it is just the ivory tower. The ivory
tire.
tire. And it's just literally
The ivory tire is what they give out to the winner of the Daytona 500. You know?
right. But it's just on this tiny little rock island at this point. Like all
Yeah.
of Earth is gone, or Fantasia, whatever.
So yeah, so they get to the ivory tower, and like it's shaking, because it's about to be crumbled too.
Right.
And then we meet the Empress, who's this child.
Yeah, she's
She's like the
little
same
girl.
age
Yeah.
as Atreyu.
And everything she says is like this,
So slow.
with pauses, as if she's having it being read to her, so that she can read it back.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is.
That's what JG mentioned. I was like,
Yeah.
you're totally right.
Because you were all into it. It's like, oh, I think it's really cool. Like kind of
Yeah, like she's kind of like an alien.
ethereal kind of thing. I said,
Yeah.
no. It sounds like she's being
She's
read
a
the
bad
line
actor.
and then she's repeating it. You know?
Which in its own way could sound alien
Just
or
like they did
ethereal. But like,
in Temple of Doom, there's that one character who's like, like monsoon rain, it covers us in darkness. That guy couldn't speak English. So Steven Spielberg sat next to the camera reading the lines to him and then like doing like the movement where he put his hands over his eyes.
Yeah.
And the guy just copied him and just like said everything like the way he said and just did all his movements too.
wow.
It's like, yeah. So it's like, so it's like you hear all the pauses in between it, and then Steven Spielberg will just say like, just imagine me saying the next line. And
Right.
that's how we did it.
Wow.
That's how I think they did this, to be honest.
I agree.
Yeah. And so it's like, shitty acting,
Yeah.
But, or maybe it was a choice. Who knows? The Empress reveals to Atreyu that the human child has been listening this entire time. That he is with us. And Bastian goes, that's impossible. There's no way. So because he doesn't believe it, the world starts breaking apart more, or the ivory tower starts breaking apart more.
Yeah, it's like cracking and shattering.
And Atreyu's like, well, how are we supposed to get him to say his name? To say a name? It's like we just have to hope that will do it. There's nothing we can really do.
And the kid's like reading this, being like, "I'm not gonna say shit.
Yeah,
because this is just a book.
Yeah, this is just a book. It's just a book. It's not real. It's not real." And then Bastian finally goes like, fine, I'll say a name. And he like opens the window and he just screams.
And it's like
Moonchild.
loud and thunder. There's like rain hitting him in the face.
Yeah.
So I thought, I could have sworn that he said like Rosalind or something
But
like
he
that.
goes,
Moonchild. That was an actual recording from the film.
Yep.
JG did not just do that
I
impression.
did not just do that,
that's Actually.
we have the kid right here with us.
right, actually, he never aged.
Yeah, he never
I was
aged.
like being trapped in a book, bitch.
This is all your fault. And so then, Bastian shouts out the name. And the Empress comes face to face with Bastian.
Yeah, she's like staring straight into the camera.
And it's like only...
no.
It's like the two of them on screen
world.
together and
Yeah.
just blackness around them.
Yeah.
And she's holding this grain of sand. So she's saying it's all that's left of Fantasia. And so she tells him, well, you can wish for whatever you want. And he says, well, how many wishes do I get? As many as you want. He's like, oh, that's kind of stupid. As many as you want? Come on.
But it's a book. The whole thing's about a book. You can make it whatever you want.
I know, right? So, like, he's like, I can wish for anything. And then just cut to, he's riding Falcor. Like,
Yeah.
Woo! And for a second, I thought, wait, your first wish was, I want to ride that luck
dog dragon,
Yeah,
yeah.
I want to ride that.
I thought you just said love dragon.
The love dragon.
Ooh, all aboard.
Right. All aboard Love Dragon tonight on KFM 137.
And if you look to our left, you see a kiss.
And if you look to our right, you'll see the band Kiss.
I like that they're involved.
That's funny.
God of thunder.
But we find out that Bastian has wished for Fantasia to come back. And he sees, there's Atreyu and Artax is back with Atreyu.
Yeah.
And then we see, Night Hob and
Teeny Weeny and his racing snail and
Rockbiter. They're all everybody's fine. The
It's
world
because
is
they're starting the
restored.
book over.
Yeah. And
It's the never-ending story.
It's a never-ending story. So it just starts over again because he finished the book. So what's going to happen? You just start over again.
Yeah.
So, but he has one last wish. Bastian does.
Yep. So in the streets, is this what we're getting to? I can't tell if I want to do this in like my fantasy brain of how these bullies sound now, because I just think that they're like these weird Europeans.
Do it like the weird Europeans. Yeah, we're just walking down the street.
Oh yeah, Hans, your cigarette is so good. I'm going to go have a chocolate cigarette.
Oh, okay. Ach du lieber, okay.
I'm going to eat 7 to 12 sausages.
Yes, Franz,
And
yes.
there's I see Super Disco in the distance.
What is that over there?
Oh, that is some kind of new wave flying device. I think it's a dog or
It's Puff's the Magic Dragon.
it's possibly Puff. It is very cool, very very hot. I think that they are going someplace very cool.
And why are we getting picked up? Why are we in the air? while we in the air.
That is because it is so alternative to be in the air. It is
Franz,
cool.
we are being thrown into the trash can right now.
That is fine. You know,
No, it is not fine. This is weird.
We put kids in trash cans all the time. Why not try it for yourself?
There are noodles in here.
I love noodles. They are so cool. They are so hip.
And at this point, ladies and gentlemen, Remy went learning his knowledge. I feel like it's like fucking Puff the Magic Dragon all of a sudden. Oh my God, this was amazing.
Yeah, so in case you didn't get what happened, Blitz, I don't know why I was about to call him Blitzkrieg. Bastion just blitzkriegs their ass and scoops them up with
Falcor.
yeah, and throws them into the trash.
Yeah.
That's the end of the movie.
That's the end of the movie. And then we get the never-ending story. Never-ending story. Do 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 do.
Jump
Falcor, jump on it and jump on it. Anyway, all right. So
So that's it. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We don't have any Ed Wood trivia for you this week, but it will.
Damn it!
I know. I dropped the
Damn
ball on
it.
that one. We'll have it back next week, though. Don't worry.
Okay. Then last minute, we've got Remy's nature facts, 100% true, coming at you, non-disputable, up your nose, out your eyes. Here it goes.
Oh boy. What
Did
is
you
this?
know that a starfish is actually a star?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, no, but real talk. If you if you took a knife to your favorite starfish and just cut off its leg or any appendage at that point, because you can't really tell unless you draw a face and decide that's the head, then it will regrow not only on the original starfish, but the leg will grow into a new starfish itself and become sentient.
So we can have multiple Patrick stars.
You can actually just breed starfish by chopping them up.
Wow. Why hasn't Patrick done that in SpongeBob?
Are you kidding me? His parents aren't his parents. They're just him.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
right.
he just lopped off a
You
leg
mean
at some
he's
point.
them.
I don't know what came first.
The chicken or the egg.
But yeah, that's
That's
totally
really cool.
true.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that had nothing to do with movies, but who cares? That's fine. So thank you for listening to this episode, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be back next week with another rousing film. What is that film? We don't know yet.
Nope, never do.
Yeah. We have some ideas, but we'll see. We'll keep that a secret.
Yeah.
And
secrets.
I like secrets too. All right. We hope you enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.